Today we're going to make Escarole soup, Italian wedding soup, or as I call it, scuttle soup. Cuciniamo. Hey, good morning everybody. Today I am making Escarole soup, or as we would say, scuttle soup. And with that soup, obviously I'm going to be making little meatballs to go in it, along with the escarole. I've got 6 heads of escarole, not a lot. This does break down when you cook it, so it's not going to be an overabundance of it because we just don't need that much. And something that we do in our family has been a tradition for years that my mother used to do is make croutons for the soup, and using Italian bread, cutting them into cubes and toasting them in the oven, and then putting them in egg, and then frying them in oil. And then when you have the soup, you add the croutons to it as you're eating it, and it just gives it an extra added texture and flavor from the bread and the fryness of the croutons. So I have here 2 loaves of this Italian bread, this round Italian bread that's already pre-sliced. I'm going to cut this into cubes, and then I'm going to toast those cubes in the oven. And then I'm going to cut and wash the escarole as the bread is toasting. Now this is going to come to you in different formats because I'm doing this right now before I start my work day. I do work out of my home, and I'm going to start this process now, and then after work come back and make the meatballs, fry the meatballs, then fry the croutons, as well as cook the scuttle, and then I'll show you the finished, put together video after I'm done. So I'll be back. I'm going to start with the bread and cutting the bread. Now you can remove the crust. I'm doing it easy. I like to do things the easy way, and normally I don't buy the bread. I actually buy the stuffing mix that is bread and do it that way because it's already cubed and all that. But I just felt like doing it a traditional way that my mother did it. So I'm going to cut these slices and cube it up. It's going to take some time, and it's arduous to do because you got to slice it. And again, like I said, I'm not taking off the crust, which I know my sisters, when they make it, they do take it off the crust. But I'm going to be lazy today. So after you cut it, just like I said, in cubes. So this is what it's going to look like. And I'm going to do that to both loaves of the bread. I'm going to put them in a bowl for now, and then I'll toast them in the oven. So I'll show you when they're toasted, and then later on tonight when I start to fry them, I'll show you that process as well. So I cut up all the bread in a bowl, and then I put some on baking sheets that I'm going to put in the oven. I'm waiting for the oven to heat up. I have the oven set to 400 on convection bake. This way I'm thinking that if I have it on convection bake, the air is going to flow around it and toast it quicker. So I'm going to do that part next, and I'll show you when they're done, what they look like. And then I'm going to start cutting my scuttle and cleaning it. Okay, so we're over by the sink because I'm going to cut the scuttle And you know, when my wife makes this, she leaves the leaves whole, cleans them whole. I like to cut them down um, as I'm as they're not washed, and then wash them as it's cut, as opposed to leaving them whole, then cooking it, and then cutting it into smaller pieces. To me, it's just easier when it's dry. And then, so basically what I'm going to do is take some leaves, and cut it. Sorry for my back. I'm going to put those in here. I may have to cut some along the way, but it's easier this way for me. So I'm going to do this with the remaining 5 heads, and then we'll be back. So as I was cutting the scuttle and trying to clean it, I was also toasting the cubed bread. You know, unfortunately, because I'm getting accustomed to an electric stove oven, I didn't realize when I put the pan in the oven that I had it too close to the element, because in a gas stove, you know, that is on the bottom and not on the top. So I burnt some of a tray of the croutons, which is a waste and, you know, will be thrown out. But I did, fortunately, I have 3 other trays, and these are the toasted croutons. So they'll cool, and then I'll later on tonight put them in egg and then fry them in oil. So I'll show you that process later on tonight. I'm going to finish cleaning the escarole, which, I don't know if you can see it in here in the bowl. It's all chopped up, and I'm just, you know, sticking my hands in and washing it and draining it, and I'll do that several times, and then that'll cook down in the pot, and that's it. So we'll be back. All right, so the scuttle is cooked. 6 heads of escarole does not get you much because it cooks down. I'm going to actually put these in gallon bags, or probably all fit in one bag, but I may break it into 2. And this is going to be frozen until Christmas Day. And when I make the meatballs later this evening, it will also be placed in these bags. So I'm just going to flatten it out so that it lays flat in the bag. Put a little bit more in here. Yeah, I told you, it's not a lot. Probably need about, if you're feeding are having a lot of people for dinner, you're probably going to need about 15 heads, if not more. But I don't need that amount. So this is what I'm going to do. Fill the other bag, and then I'm going to place this in the freezer. And then later on, I'll do the meatballs. See you in a bit. So now it's time to start the meatballs. I have here 2 pounds of veal, pork, and beef. And I'm going to mix in onion powder, garlic powder, granulated garlic, cheese, Parmesan cheese, salt, pepper, an egg, some breadcrumbs, some fresh parsley. Now, normally I'll chop up fresh onions and fresh garlic, but because these are the smaller meatballs, I don't want those bits of chunks in those meatballs, so I'm going to use the dry ingredients. So first I'm going to season it with onion powder, and I'm just going by sight. I don't have any measurements. I'm going to add the granulated garlic. Some salt. Some pepper. I'm going to use all this cheese. That's all I have left. I ran out. I mean, as backup, if I needed more cheese, I have a block of grana padano cheese that I would put in there. I'm going to throw a couple breadcrumbs in there. Now, these are seasoned breadcrumbs, so that has pecorino romano cheese in it and some Italian seasoning in it already. I'm going to throw in the fresh parsley, because I almost spilled it all over the counter. I'm going to put in a little bit of milk. Normally, if I add breadcrumbs, I would soak the breadcrumbs in milk. This is just to make it a little bit moister. I'm going to put this back in the fridge. I'll be right back. And then I'm going to crack 2 eggs. Oop. And then mix it. You don't want to overmix the meat. And yes, my hands are clean. Just want to make sure I'm incorporating all the ingredients into the meat. That should do it. And now we're going to start rolling it. I do have to get a dish. I forgot to take out a dish. And I use a little scooper to get the meat to make it into little balls. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I got my dish so I could put the meatballs in. I also have a little bowl of water to wet my palm as I'm rolling them out, a spoon. And then I set up my stove for heating the oil. So just grabbing a little piece, and I'm going to roll them into bite-sized pieces, if you can see. And I'm going to do this until all this meat is gone, and then I'm going to fry it in the oil. I still have to fry those croutons that I'm making. I probably will not get to it tonight. I will probably get to it tomorrow. But tomorrow I'm also, if you recall, in my last video, that was just a video of me talking. I'm going to be making those souplis, which is kind of like an arancini ball, rice ball, but it's rice and mozzarella. So I'm going to be making them tomorrow as an appetizer for Christmas Day. So I'll show you that as well. That shouldn't take as long as rolling these meatballs and frying the meatballs and frying the croutons, because that does take some time. So as soon as I'm done this, then I'll take you over to the stove and we'll fry them up. I finished rolling the meatballs. So here's the plate of meatballs, and now it's time to fry the meatballs. So I'm just going to put these in the oil and dump as many as I can in there, since this is a big pot. Now, when I make large meatballs for pasta, sometimes I fry them, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just put them directly into the gravy sauce. For you who call it sauce, we call it gravy when we make it with meat. So these are going to fry. Then I'm going to put them on a baking sheet that's lined with paper towels and let the oil absorb on there. And then once they cool down, I'm going to bag them into a freezer bag and freeze them until Christmas morning when we prepare to make dinner. These are going to go into a broth, chicken broth, that we put the scuttle that I cooked earlier along with the meatballs. Now, some people, when they make Italian wedding soup or Escarole soup, as we call it, they tend to put some chicken pieces in there, tend to put different types of pasta in there, like a cina di pepe. We don't put any pasta in there. We don't put any carrots. We just put the escarole, goes into a chicken broth, and then we dump the meatballs in. And then as we put the soup in a bowl, we'll take the croutons that I prepare and we put them in the soup. And then you add your cheese, either locatelli cheese if you want, or Parmesan cheese, and you enjoy. It's all what you like. And truth be told, we don't make the broth from scratch. I've never did. I know some people do. The store-bought kind, such as Cento, such as Collagen, they work just perfectly fine. But you're more than welcome to make your own chicken broth if you like. I tend to use what's ever on sale at the time. I go between College Inn, Swanson, or Cento brand chicken broth. It's just easier. I'm all for easy, quick and easy. So my meatballs are breaking up because I'm mixing them around too hard. So as these get done, I will show you what they look like when they're done being cooked, and then we'll cool them off. We'll bag them, and that'll be it for tonight. Tomorrow, I will restart the process to cook those or fry those croutons, those bread croutons that I cut up and toasted earlier this morning. Just it's 7:30 at night. Just a long day from being up early, doing that and the scuttle, and then working, and then coming back from work, having dinner, and now making these meatballs. So I'll do that tomorrow, and also we'll be making a separate video, not combined with this one, of the supplies that I'm going to make. So follow me for that, and see you in a bit. Meatballs have been all fried, sitting here draining on the paper towel and waiting for them to get cooled, and then I'll bag them and put them in the freezer. I remember when I would watch my mom make these as a kid, take these as she's cooking them and as they're drying, and just pop them in my mouth. They're so good. Okay, show you the next part with the croutons when I'm